Have you ever wanted something so badly? In that moment, you were just like, this is what I want, and you got so close, but you stopped because you felt filled with this fear or even dread. And then maybe lost motivation, hope, and your dream just fizzled. Well, you're not alone, everyone, and let's dive in to see what is actually happening and how you will never again stop because of fear. Welcome to your Thursday transmission. Every week, we take 20 minutes to cut through the noise, clear the energy, and remember something that we never lost. We just forgot, our true self within. And remember that true self that is within you is like your God spark. It's your closest connection and hookup to universal intelligence space, to God, source, whatever your words are to try to describe and make sense of the all energy creator. You have a connection. And when you tap into that connection, almost everything else just fades away. And so today we are talking about fear has no power if you know this shocking truth. Fear has no power if you know this shocking truth. And it's a bit of a shock, but I know you're going to get it because all of you have been here again and again for Thursday transmission. So, and when this lands, when you absorb what we're going to talk about, and as we dive in deep, it's going to be life-changing. So I just want you to take a moment and drop into your body. Think about lowering your shoulders. Take a breath into your abdomen. Allow yourself to just completely let go. Because isn't it weird how some things can change and others don't, and you just all of a sudden grab that moment at hand. And now with me, I want you just take one more deep breath, set the transmission in place, and let go. Fear has no power, none, unless you believe its story. And its story, everyone, is seductive. The stories that fear, and let's just look at fear as like an entity, fear tells are seductive and they are strong stories. They make sense in the moment. This is kind of the thing that can really shake you up. When you're in fear about something new or quantum leap or a shift or something, the fear stories are seductive, strong, and they make sense in the moment. And that's because as soon as one of those, you can't really do this, or know this, but one of those voices that shows up and says, who do you think you are? That's never going to work. Or how are you going to pull that off? That amazing word, how, that sends the brain into turmoil. As soon as one of those stories take hold, or one of those voices take hold, your brain, your nervous system, your subconscious mind shouts back, yeah, don't do that. You got to stay right here. Unless you have rehabilitated, repurposed how conscious and aware you are with your thoughts, what you're sending to your subconscious, and then allowing your nervous system to express itself in a more calm, in fact, unshakable, calm way. So we'll get to how all that happens. But most people spend, I would say, decades. For me, I would say up until, 6 years, 5 years ago, I really tried to manage fear by meditating it away, by reading books on it, by praying it away, all the things that we do that seemingly are really good things, until all of a sudden I had a realization, it's like this fear, this afraidness is just an energy. And when I allow that energy to pass through me, I no longer identify with it. But it took me a long time to get there. And so that's what I want you to think about right here and right now. This isn't about kind of fighting with fear, making it wrong, because if you make it wrong, it's just going to persist and stick. But think about it this way. What if the only reason fear ever seemed powerful is because you kept giving it attention? I'm going to say that again. What if The only reason fear felt powerful is because you kept feeding it. You kept giving it attention. And attention is the most potent energy in the universe. If we sidebar for a moment, we know that when we decide what we want to design, and we create an intention to do so, and we pour our attention towards that, it takes on life. It begins to shape. It begins to come into your reality. But oftentimes, right before that pouring on of intent and attention that you might do to a new dream or a goal, fear comes up. The nervous system starts to spiral. Your brain is like, whoa, 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 wait a minute, this is different. And your subconscious gets inflamed. Is that making sense so far? Because if you give something attention, it's going to stick and it's going to grow and it's going to become a part of you. And fear doesn't exist as a force. It exists almost as this hypnotic suggestion. It's captivating. It's hijacking you. And an illusion of the mind projecting when it forgets the truth of who you are, which, as we said at the beginning, is your true self within. So tonight I want to uncover the truth. I want to reveal, again, the reminder of your true self, a reminder that you have this divine spark, reminder that you're here to do magnificent things. And when you see the truth, not just believe it, but see it, fear dissolves, I know, like a little snowball in the sun. So fear, let's look at it this way. What if fear isn't a feeling? I know we feel it. I know it hits our gut. I know our heart races. I get it. We have this visceral feeling when we're in fear. But what if it's not really a feeling, but it's a fictional story sustained by your imagination? Think about it, because even those fictional stories that we're running in our minds, they take hold. Last time you were in a movie and you're like, you still had a visceral response, but you knew it was a movie. You knew it wasn't real, but your senses took it in, triggered some of the amygdala, the nervous system, etc. And so you had that response. What if you could look at the fear you have in your life as a movie outside of you? Not in your soul, not in your heart, not in your cells, but you're just, as the yogis say, you're a sakshi watching a movie from the balcony of your higher self. I think then the fear would not bother you. It wouldn't be as seductive. It wouldn't pull at you. And so when this part of the brain fires up, the amygdala, it predicts pain before it happens. That's the amygdala's job, to keep you out of harm's way. And it was very helpful. It is still helpful. If you're walking down the street at night and you hear something, you sense something, it's like, you want to pay attention. Just as back in the day when we were, as you always hear me say, you're out in the forest, you're hunting, gathering, whatever, and you hear something, sense something, that amygdala just goes straight up. And then you have this orbital frontal cortex. It's like, hang on, it's okay. It's like a little squirrel. But we have created so much panic and stress in our lives, and we're operating from paradigms that hold on to fear, so that when you go for your next level, when you say, I've been talking about quantum shifts in prosperity code and the ashram, when you go for a quantum shift, you better believe, if you're not really well attuned, your nervous system, your brain, and your subconscious are going to go boop. And that is going to be really interesting. It's going to give you all those feelings. So we take a pause. We reset. We reposition. What is fear? Maybe it isn't a thing that I have to fight. Maybe it is this energy just passing through the atmosphere of my vibration. And perhaps when I get more focused and I find and align with that true self, I can actually face what is shaking me up and remind myself who I am, get centered, Do a clearing. If you're in Illumination Academy, you have so many clearings. And remember that I am just going to move this out of the way. I'm not going to let my amygdala implode and take over my dreams. I am going to set my intention, my heart, and make sure there's this beautiful coherence between heart and thoughts and brain towards my goals. So when I'm going for a reach, a stretch, and my nervous system is like, zing, zing, something bad might happen, I reply, nope, it's going to be okay. I have that positive mental attitude, and I would jot this down, everyone, no matter what, everything works out for my highest and best. Because if you don't take that positive mental attitude, no matter what, everything's going to work out. Everything's going to work out. If you're not taking that, I guarantee you're going to start stacking evidence to support the amygdala, the nervous system, the subconscious, that it's not going to work. And these are really two major qualities of a person who succeeds and a person who, quote unquote, fails. So the person who fails, and let's just say failing is stopped, they just stop with the fear. It's because when they start to focus on something that they really want, a new project, or maybe they're going to go for that promotion or another client, and all of a sudden they remember fear is pulling from the past. This didn't work last time. Or not only didn't I not get the promotion, the person laughed at me. Like, you go back in time. And then that evidence starts to stack up, and that's the energy someone's moving forward with. It's not going to work out. This is why I have a client that's just arriving tonight for the Avery process. The Avery process, which is very intense, 4 days, 5 hours a day. It is about repositioning, editing the memories of the past so you don't get triggered from the past. You're like, okay, this is happening. What's my way through? With a really strong, clear focus, no matter what, it's going to work out for me. And so when your mind is on board, it's like, this is going to work, instead of being on board with the fear. So when your mind is on board with the fear, it sounds like this. Yeah, it's not going to work out and I can prove it. And I'm really good at stacking evidence to show you it's not going to work out. And then all parts of you are like, that's great. Just come right back here. It's going to be okay. You can avoid that tension. You can avoid that friction. But then what? Then you wake up in the middle of the night. You're like, dang, I didn't go for it. Or you do another round the next month. I talk to people a lot, and they're just saying the same story every month, every year. And so when fear appears to hold them back, it's not warning them of danger. It's trying to control them to stay in this comfort zone that is really just mediocrity. And that's something we have to look at. Fear, and you understand the type of fear I'm talking about, obviously. Fear lives only where there is a lie about who you are. It's the lie that says you're separate from the divine. It's the lie that says you have no capacity and access to universal laws. It's the lie that says something outside of you can strip you of your soul or your truth. None of that's true. And because you might fight those thoughts with other thoughts, the fear grows, because you're just like, right? It's like, you can imagine. What was that game, the board game, where you're like, you got the little electrical thing? You guys know Operation? I loved Operation. And like, because your thoughts are fighting thoughts. It's just not going to work. So it becomes this huge scenario and buzzers of all the things that could go wrong. And in fact, have gone wrong. And life isn't perfect. Things do go upside down all around, but you can reset. So a really great teacher once said to me, and it was in the music world, and it just stuck with me. He said, look, when your nerves get ignited and you start to shake and you think you're afraid, you need to change it into excitement. It's all energy. Fear, if you call it fear, it's fear. If you take a breath and you call it excitement, all of a sudden it becomes excitement. And then your brain starts to settle down, because excitement is way different than fear. You're working more from I think it's called the ventral striatum, like, ooh, this is exciting, I'm going to move towards that. Rather than the amygdala, which is like, I'm going to fall back. And he also said, I don't know why so many people choose to stay stuck and in fear, and it's really sad. And this is the differentiator of the person who can reposition what's happening in the moment, change the perspective, because when you change your perspective, you change your life. And fear really only survives through identification. When you identify with something, it becomes you. Just like love, when you identify with love, it becomes you. It infuses your cells. It becomes the paradigm you operate from. Some of you might be operating from resentment or jealousy or criticism. I hope not. But this happens to us humans. But what happens if you operate from the paradigm of inclusivity, of love, of joy, of abundance? You feel different and you attract different. So when you say something like, I am afraid, you take ownership of the afraidness. And you're giving your body fear to hold on to, and even a place to grow, to live and grow. But here's the thing, when you say, and jot this down, there is fear moving through awareness. There is fear moving through vibration. You disarm it. It's moving through. It's not sticking. It's not feeding. It's not growing. It's moving through. There is fear. It's moving through my awareness right now. Like, I'm aware of it, but it's moving. And so, again, we've talked about this before here, but the really shocking truth is fear is not your emotion to hold on to. It is a passing vibration that feeds on unconscious attention. Your attention's going all over the place. My attention's going all over the place. When you're not self-aware, when you're in that unconscious state, the fear takes hold. And it's very seductive and it's very sneaky. But when you stop identifying with it, and when you stand as the observer, right, the consciousness that is ready to release it, fear collapses. Because the observer has no heartbeat. It has no nourishment for fear to latch onto. It's just move out of the way. So when you have nothing to defend, when you have nothing to be right about, when you have no criticism towards someone else because you think you're better, you know better, when you're in a higher consciousness, like all of you are and want to continue to be, fear can't take hold. Yes, it'll pass through, but it can't take hold. And when you find those moments, which I think we all do, I don't know about you, but I know I do, and I think this is part of that human experience, the operation game, like when it shows up, just take a beat, like take a breath, identify it. Oh, that's that thing called fear. And it's just moving through my awareness. It's just moving on. Let it move on, and then you find yourself centered and focused and ready to achieve anything that you want. But you've got to be at that state of consciousness. Because when there's this doorway to liberation, to seeing your true self, to experiencing life from your divine state, you want to be able to step through. This is what we do in Illumination Academy. It's like spiritual teachings at a very high level, with coupling understanding what's happening in your brain and your nervous system, so that you can walk through that door and step into that beautiful hallway or maybe it's a grand ballroom of liberation. And let fear just be a shadow, and let it just dissolve in the light, because the light always comes up. So remember that truth of who you are, what you are, will always destroy the fear, or dissolve it, or allow it to pass away. Just like when the sun comes up, there's just no more darkness. So everyone, that is our Thursday transmission. Thank you for being here. And if there's anything you need, reach out to us. We appreciate you. We've got amazing things happening here. Obviously, Prosperity Code Coaching Method is relaunched. It's an amazing 3-month coaching methodology that just allows you to truly self-coach away to achieve anything that you want. And maybe that's a way of being. Maybe it's more calm. But reach out, because it's blowing up. It's pretty cool. And of course, we have the Ashram Alchemists, our year-long, which filled with amazing people like Rhonda here, and Anita and Jill, doing the really deep work that makes a difference and makes everything okay. All right, sending you big hugs, and peace out. Namaste. Ready to break through your final wall? Click below to book a clarity call with my team. We'll show you how to turn these insights into your lived reality.